wandering through the mist, you might encounter a whole lot of different dangers and terrors along the way. And I would love to know, Michael, what's a particularly terrifying thing that we might run into going through the domains of dread?
Well, I wrote a piece this morning about I don't even know how to say them. Carrionnettes?
Probably
Carrionnettes?
rhymes with
Carrionettes.
marionettes, right? Like
Carrionnettes.
carrionettes. Probably.
Carrionnettes.
Carrionettes.
I'm going to say that wrong about 3 more times. Carrionnettes. Um okay. So you've
Michael's
watched
favorite
Toy
domain of
Story.
dread is me shifting his deadlines. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so you've watched Toy Story, right? Now, imagine Toy Story, but the toys are trying to kill Andy. Okay, so carrionettes are tiny little constructs that take the shape of, they could be little toys, they could be puppets, they could be Jack in the Box, just any type of little toy or piece of art can be a carrionette. These are usually created by someone who wants to bring a toy to life for either companionship or because maybe it's their child's favorite toy and therefore they want to gift their child a live toy. Unfortunately, these creatures do not like the bodies which they have been given. So they want to take your body, and they actually have the ability to do so. So carrionettes all have a tiny needle as their weapon, and when they hit you with it, it curses you. On the following round, they can force you to make a charisma saving throw, and if you fail, you switch bodies with the carrionette. The tricky part is it's not so easy switching the bodies back. So there is a certain spell you can use to reverse it. You can also you have to get the silver needle and then use it against your body, or you can destroy the carronette's body. But if you do, you both die. So if you throw this if one of your, oh my gosh, oh gosh, I do not want my player characters to die. I do not take joy in them dying. But if you throw this creature at your party and they don't know how to swap back, they might think, oh, if we just destroy the body, then my soul gets pushed back to my body. And that is not what happened, because that is exactly what I thought would happen. And then I read it and I was like, oh no. There's a very specific way of reversing this. So that's the tricky part.
Yeah, oh man, I mean, creepy dolls already. I'm super into them. If you ever just have an hour and you're like, what do I want to look at on the internet? Look up haunted dolls on Etsy, and you'll have yourself a time. Uh, but yeah, I love this. I specifically I love the mechanics behind a carrionette switching with one of your characters and your character ending up in its body. This is such a cool example of a fight becoming so much more than a fight, or than an encounter becoming so much more than an encounter. And it really sort of encapsulates what I think this book is really trying to do with terror and horror in general in D&D. Is it's, because these monsters have existed before in D&D, but I really think that um, at least sort of in my sort of traditional mindset, oh no, it's an evil doll, punch, we're done. But here we've engaged with the carrionette. It's switched. It's got one of my party members. Their soul is in this doll. That's insane. And now that's a whole new angle. This is a whole new storyline now that we have to deal with, from this one like chance encounter with a creepy doll that we ran into in a room. I mean, we might have to go to the Litwick market, I don't know, to figure out like how to get this done if we don't already know, right? Because like you said, Michael, it's not obvious how to sort of make this work. And so I think that that's so cool. And honestly, like as a player, I 100% want to be trapped in a doll. How fun is
I
that?
love very much.
How fun
I
is
love
that?
that you underlined the nature of that threat being different from a standard fight, and it's funny because that's obvious on its surface, but it hadn't actually connected for me till you said that. How much of the work that they do in the Domains of Dread and in the setup for this is really about finding other ways to give your party big problems that require solutions that are different from, let's say, kill it with fire. As
Mhm.
you know, I will personally, I will often go to kill it with fire. It solves a lot of situations in a lot of games. But the sections about running with Dark Lords and running the domains really emphasize the fact that merely sort of defeating someone physically is often not the end of your problems. It is not the solution to what's going on, and so the Carrionettes take that and make it a very literal. You are in a lot of trouble, but that will require some either creativity or careful engagement. In addition to the other skills that you bring to bear of being cool warriors, in a way that really plays into the themes and goals of your horror campaign and of your horror D&D. And I will
Mhm.
also say that my other favorite thing about Carrionettes is that they also tie to lore and story, because I believe it mentions in their info that you may or may not run into them in a certain domain
Mhm.
of dread, which I am now wildly excited to visit willingly or unwillingly as a player or someday in a D&D game, because it sounds so fun and so
Yeah.
creepy. And shout out to the
Yeah.
Jonathan Colton song Creepy Doll, which will not be leaving my head for the next several months.
Well,
There is one last thing about these monsters that I did want to mention. Although you did inspire me of like running a one shot where everyone's a Carrionette, and then your goal as a party is to take over bodies of like the guards and take over a town. I don't know, just came to mind. The the terrifying part of these creatures is that they can create more of themselves.
mhm.
So you can very well not just encounter one, but like a whole dozen of these creatures as they've just been toiling away and making more and more of themselves, hoping to, I don't know, take over a whole village.
Yeah.
They've
Oh God,
got
I
no
love it. And
strings, and you've got no chance. Somebody
yeah.
finish that slogan for me, but it's going to be very scary.
Well, I mean, what if you know, if I were DMing this encounter and I had a player who I knew would be up for it, I would just pass him a note and just be like, "Hey, are you down for a little soul switch that the party's not even gonna know about?" That's such a fun opportunity for them to just start doing some real subtle, weird, crazy stuff. And, you know, and then we get to play
Ooh.
like how long until the rest of the party notices that our cleric's being real weird, is such a fun idea to me. And then, sorry, I really like this monster, and I think it really encapsulates everything. Just this move, it also gives the monster a need and a want and a motive beyond this is the thing we're fighting, which
Mhm.
I think instantly adds so much color to your encounters in the game. I just think that's so cool. You're not just fighting Chucky because, you know, who cares? Like, you can just kick Chucky really hard
Yeah.
and then he's
I
gone.
mean, he's still pretty
But
threatening. I'm just saying.
but you know, but the idea of, oh well, Chucky has a specific thing he wants to do, and he's gonna figure out how to get it. He wants to get a new body, right? He wants to get into and to Andy's. He wants his soul in Andy's body. You know, he's gonna figure it out. So it's not just like he's running and stabbing. Like, he's gonna be clever. He's gonna be you're gonna wake up during a long rest and there's just a doll by the fire.
Wait, Andy is the name of the kid in Toy Story and Chucky?
I think he's in Child's Play. Oh, so many of my friends are about to kill me. Hang on,
I
I
think you're
gotta.
I can
right
neither
though.
confirm nor deny the name of.
That would be
Amy,
kind of scary
you
if
guys
that's
talk
true.
while I double
The
check on
connected
this.
Carrionette universe
Yeah,
that underlies all of them.
The multiverse.
Andy confirmed.
Conf-
Okay, thank God. I was about to lose so
we
much
just
cred.
heard. That's
Oh my
very
gosh.
very interesting, and I've never noticed it.
Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, a new vision of horror from the maniacal minds that brought you Curse of Straw. Explore over 30 domains of dread to terrorize your table, or use the ghastly guide to create your own. Let loose your dark side with all new character subclasses. Unleash fresh nightmares with dozens of malevolent monsters. Pre-order for chilling bonuses and perks. Subscribe to share this twisted content with your table. Face your fears. Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. Pre-order now on the D&D Beyond marketplace. Or else.